Hello, you sexy bastards. How are y'all today? This is a video by Wolf Lord Rohu. Someone suggested that we check out. This is the awakening of the Emperor and his actions thus far. But the Emperor is a chair. What do you mean awakening? I'm curious to see what he means by that. Okay, let's wait it out.
Hey everyone, Wolflord Ro here. Before I begin today, a big thank you to a priest of She Who Firsts for the virtual gift voucher. Huge thank you, my friend, for the support. It is truly appreciated. Thank you. However, you will not tempt me to the ruinous powers.
Ah, good boy.
Today we discuss the awakening of the Emperor and all the signs we have seen of the Emperor's re-emergence.
He dead though.
General spoiler warning to begin, as we will be discussing events from across the lore. So you have been warned. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. So, with the return of the Ultramarine Primarch Rabute Guilliman and his resultant...
Is that how you pronounce his name actually? Rabute? I thought it was Robot. Or...
Marine Primarch Rabute Guilliman and his resultant crusade to terror. We received for the first time, well, ever, complete and utter confirmation that the Emperor is indeed still alive. And this was confirmed in the novel Dark Imperium. Between the time of the Emperor's ascension to the throne and Guilliman's own death, the Emperor had spoken to no one. How could anything have persisted for 10,000 years, he had thought. There was the wizened corpse, surrounded by banks of groaning machinery, his sword upon his knee. Sorrow suffused everything. The sacrifice required to keep the Emperor alive sickened the Primarch. If he were alive, he appeared dead. Guilliman had expected nothing, but he spoke. With words of light and fire, the Emperor had conferred with his returned Primarch. Now this laid to rest once and for all the theories that the Emperor may actually be dead. And even better, not only did the Emperor speak with his returned son, since then, we have seen him re-emerge as a major player on the galactic playing field once more.
Okay,
as we have spoken.
Quick pause, okay? I was thinking the other night. It's a thing I very rarely do, think, you know? But I was doing that while I was trying to fall asleep. And I was thinking, okay, my theory before was that the Emperor is becoming a chaos god with all the people worshipping him, right? It kind of makes sense a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Because like that's how you become a chaos god. Like that's how the Dark Elder made Slanesh. The Elder made Slanesh, not the Dark. You know what I mean, okay? But then I was thinking, what if the Emperor is dead? But he respawned, because that's like he's a persistent or whatever the fuck he is. And people praying to the chair actually made a chaos god, Emperor. But he's a chaos god, but not the actual Emperor. But, you know, they sacrifice things to him. That's very chaosy, right? For power and shit. But the real Emperor is gathering power somewhere after he respawned as a, you know, little nuke child. Does that make sense? Probably not, but I thought it would be pretty cool, you know? And he's been gathering powers for the last 10k years. And now he's gonna emerge soon and clap some cheeks.
About before.
Think about it.
So just what has the Emperor been up to? Well, as it was the return of his son that showed us the Emperor still lived, so it was that Guilliman's Indomitus crusades began to show us the Emperor did far more than that. Now Dark Imperium and Plague Wars are getting the rework as we know, but hopefully none of the Emperor content will be affected. As it stands, the first mention of the Emperor is in him calming the warp before Guilliman's fleet, allowing him to make far greater haste across the galaxy than expected. As we can see in this short passage from Plague War, between Kugath the greater demon, and Mortarion himself. More than troublesome, said Mortarion. I fear that he is under the protection of the thrice-cursed Emperor. Kugaf winced at open voicing of the forbidden name. I said I would not name him. Why must you? The demon wailed. And though Guilliman is too unimaginative...
Wait. So, the Emperor is that strong that just by naming him it hurts a greater demon? Jesus. My theory might have some... Okay, come on, it sounds cool, doesn't it? Though?
To see that this is the case, hateful light quells the storms before his ship. My father's work, perhaps. It's fairly safe to assume
not your
that
father
this
anymore,
is
bitch.
a given, and really doesn't need a lot of explaining. The faster Guilliman's forces can move throughout the Imperium, the faster it can be saved, and the forces of chaos pushed back. Guilliman is the first weapon in nigh on 10,000 years that gives the Emperor real hope. A chance for more than inevitable defeat.
Why Guilliman
To
though?
not just stem the tide, but to truly fight back. Later in the story, as Guilliman is battling the greater demon Kugaf and his brother Mortarion.
Oh, at this point I think he was using the Emperor's sword, right? He was using a flaming sword.
He is saved from death only by the arrival of a girl seemingly possessed by the power of his father.
What?
Anathema. One word. It swam across the air, wafting towards the girl as soft as silk, carried off on the wind. Time slid to a stop. Atoms stopped their motions. Light hung unmoving in the air. Sprays of blood made solid arches over the field. Bolts hung mid-flight. An eternal cold gripped Colquhoun. Only he, for reasons he did not know, could look about him freely. All warriors were locked motionless. Guilliman strained in his bonds of living light. Mortarion had his scythe raised over his head.
Fucking Mortarion.
But, although things had ceased their movement, the girl still moved. She turned her head and looked at Colquhoun. In her face burned golden eyes as old as time, and from her mouth sprang the luminance of a star. Within his ornate helm, Colquhoun's mouth fell open. "My lord," he whispered. Now to me this is quite clearly the Emperor of mankind, and not some other power as a few theories have speculated.
Bro, I like this guy.
Colquhoun, for one, a Custodes, immediately recognizes the power as his lord, the Emperor of mankind. And you do have that added detail of him being the only person on the battlefield, demons included, who can still freely move. The Custodes always the Emperor's chosen bodyguard, his closest servants. The demons cry out anathema, their name for the Emperor.
Anathema?
And lastly, that description. In her face burned golden eyes, as old as time. And from her mouth sprang the luminance of a star. It's undoubtedly the power of the Emperor. Even after the conflict itself, when laying her blind eyes on Guilliman for the first time, the girl utters the line, "You look like him." Now obviously this can't be a physical perception, more a psychic feeling, a psychic sense. And Guilliman, while no real psyker, again as in all Primarchs, has some innate ability built within him, and his aura would undoubtedly be similar to his father's. The alternative theories for this encounter are interesting, and who knows, we may get a twist in the reworks, but as it stands, it's undoubtedly the Emperor here. So two very definitive actions thus far taking place. Now from there, we move out into the wider lore.
Why Gilliman though? I want my boy. I want my hacker boy. I want my hacker boy alive, okay? Fuck Gilliman. Okay, Gilliman's pretty cool, but god damn it.
And unbelievably, to the Alpha Legion and the novel Shroud of Night. Now, some of you may remember my review of this novel, because in my opinion it's an absolute 5 out of 5 smash for me. An absolute stellar adventure ride following an Alpha Legion warband. Not your usual Alpha Legion story, no subtleties, no secrets, just straight up.
Wait. The Alpha Legion without secrets? What?
Up adventure.
What?
The Imperial world of Cedreca is under siege by a huge host of World Eaters across the Great Rift in Imperium Nihilus, and the Alpha Legion have been employed to infiltrate this battle-torn planet to corrupt something known as the Beacon. Well, as it turns out, this Beacon is actually a man. Another soul possessed, or you could say blessed, with a portion of the Emperor's power, becoming a mini Astronomicon, if you will, a light amid the darkness of the Imperium Nihilus. However, the forces of the World Eaters cannot be stopped by the stubborn Imperial defenders, and this is where their story gets really interesting. Because the Emperor instructs Celestine, who is fighting amid the defenders, to help the Alpha Legion warband escape with the Beacon. Which she does, going toe to toe with Khan the Betrayer to allow them to escape.
What's happening? I thought Alpha Legion traitors pretending, maybe, I don't know. Why are they fighting Khorne? Why is Celestine... I mean, technically she should do everything the Emperor tells her, so it makes sense, but I'm confused as fuck.
She knew this as surely as she knew that the Emperor had meant to see the Beacon in the hands of Cassar and his brothers, rather than let it fall to the worshippers of Khorne or Slaanesh. It was a grim equation, a measure of how desperate the Imperium's plight had become. But Celestine trusted her Emperor for thousands of years, across dozens of lifetimes. He had never, ever led her wrong. Now why the Emperor has done this we just don't know, but I'm really hoping for a sequel to this amazing read. Just why would the Emperor entrust the Beacon to an Alpha Legion warband, who we have seen to be suffering demonic taint? This isn't a warband you're expecting to be redeemed. It's definitely a risky gamble on the Emperor's part, and I'm really looking forward to doing some speculation on just where it may be headed.
Bro,
but
the fucking Emperor is playing 10D chess.
Well, next up, of course, we have Ephrael Stern, as we spoke about earlier in the week, the Emperor's new saint. With Ephrael giving herself over to her belief in him completely, truly becoming a saint of the Emperor. The light grew, and with it came thunder, and it was still gold, purest gold, the gold of a throne. The thunder was a voice too great for sound, too vast for words. Though words formed in her mind, words placed by a force that was sanctity itself. Be thou my sword. Now these are all the signs I have seen thus far of the Emperor acting within the galaxy since the return of Guilliman. And I thought it a good idea to really name them for those of you who may be new to the lore or the channel. When we talk of the Emperor awakening and acting out in the galaxy once more, these are the events we are referring to. Like I said, there are a lot of theories out there for them being alternative powers rather than the Emperor himself. And of course they are always possible, but for me, they are quite definitely signs of the Emperor himself. And well, I only think this storyline is going to become more relevant the closer we get to the release of Godblight, the third installment of the Dark Imperium series. We'll definitely be doing more Emperor talk after Astra Militarum week next week, because man, I really want to dive into some of these theories. Just what will transpire? What powers could it be other than the Emperor? And just what could the Emperor have planned?
Yeah.
If he has a plan at all.
He's still a chair,
but
right?
As always, guys, what do you think?
I don't
as
know
always,
what to think
drop
anymore.
your thoughts in the comments below. I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers. Your support truly means a lot to me. It really does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again tomorrow for Fantasy Thursday.
Fantasy Thursday. Damn. Huh. Custodes. Ay, 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 ay. God damn it, motherfucker. Oh, jeez. Okay, what do y'all think? What do you think about my crazy theory? Any chance of that? Probably not, but hey, you never know, you know? You never know, you know? Anyway, this guy is cool. I like this guy. This guy is cool. I like this dude. Anyway, quick thank you to the YouTube members and patrons. I'll be streaming some more Kingdom Come Deliverance later on today. Join me for that if you want to, and have a nice day, everybody. Bye-bye.